Hi everyone, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I'm pretty sure it is the 25th of March today. So I've got some really exciting news that I'm going to share with you first, and then I want to take a look at Sidney Powell and the filibuster, sort of as opposed to a person. I want to just kind of see if I can get a handle on what the GOP is doing in their attempt to, allow Mitch McConnell to continue to be in sort of power with the filibuster. So let's take a look at that, shall we? There are animals everywhere, so don't be distracted if you hear animal sounds. Hang on. Okay, so let me start with my good news. First of all, I cannot thank you people enough for all of the support, the energy work, the prayers, the good wishes, all of it. So when last I left you, the deal that I had made had fallen through because of the inspection. And I didn't quite know what I was going to do, and I didn't quite know what I was going to buy, and I didn't quite know where I was going to go. So within 2 days of that announcement, and you all starting your powerful, powerful energy work, I revisited what it was I was actually looking for, shifted a little bit what I thought I needed versus what I was sort of trying to get. And as a result of that, I was able to circle around and view a property that I had had my eye on for a while. And initially we rejected it because it was sort of considered too small, like one of the rooms wasn't going to work, etc. Now, so in this area that I'm looking at, there's a street, and on this street, there's like about 15 properties, and all of those properties, they back onto a beautiful, it's actually 2 ponds with like a wooden arch bridge that goes over it. It's surrounded by trees. It's absolutely gorgeous. And way back in November, I was like, I love this location. I love this location. This is what I want in my backyard. This is what I want to be able to look at. And so every time I would go into that area, because that's the area I was really specifically looking for, I would drive by this sort of street down. I would go down this street, and I would say, I just need one of these to go up for sale. I just need one of these to go up for sale. And meanwhile, I was looking in all other areas, and I couldn't find what I wanted, and I wasn't happy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So on Sunday, we finally got in to see this place that had sort of been deemed not quite what I was looking for. And of course, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So Monday morning, we did a second walkthrough. And after that, we put in an offer. Within 2 hours, the offer was settled and accepted. Yesterday, the property went through its home inspection. It passed with flying colors. So all conditions are off. So and this is sort of what my new schedule looks like. I'm still moving out of this property on the 31st. And I will not be taking possession of that new property until April 16th. So it's only like a 2-week wait, which is amazing. I mean, it's really hard to get that fast to turn around. There's people actually living in this property, so they've agreed to pack up and get out in a very short period of time, for which I'm eternally grateful. So I'm going to be revisiting my schedule over the next couple of weeks and figuring out where I can increase my videos. I'm going to need to adjust some of my private readings for those of you who were booked. You'll expect to hear from me because I got to move you up, actually. And there we have it. So thank you so much for all of your support. It has been incredible, and frankly, it has gotten through me an incredibly stressful and difficult time. And of course, it's a great example, demonstration of not only the power of energy work, but manifestation and action. So, having said that, let's talk about other people who are manifesting stuff. Sidney Powell. So as you know, she's the lawyer who would say anything for Trump, right? Didn't matter how crazy the story was, she was going to be out there supporting it. Now, she's one of the people who has gotten sued by one of those voting machine companies for $1.3 billion for the garbage she was saying. So earlier this week, she went into court to sort of basically, I guess, put up her defense. I'm not sure what this is for. I'm assuming it's for this suit that's going on. But anyways, this was her defense. I kid you not. If you missed this, you guys, honestly, this is her defense. Well, anybody kind of who was thinking, anybody with average intelligence would have absolutely known that I was lying. So the whole big lie about the election being, Nova, please don't help, thank you, with the election being stolen and the voting machines being corrupted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Her defense now that she's in trouble is, well, everybody should have known that was a lie. Can you believe it? Right? I spent months telling stories that were so not true, that ripped the country apart, that created violence and insurgency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And her defense is, well, of course I was lying, but everybody should have known I was lying because what I was saying was absolutely ridiculous. I love that. I love that as a defense. I want to take a look at her. Twyla, it's not going to work well for me if you eat the cord. Okay, go find something else to chomp on. Go on. All right, here we go. Current Sidney Powell, current Sidney Powell, current Sidney Powell. I also noticed in the news that, because I think when I did the stone reading a little while ago, I said that he was going to, the temperature was going to heat up on him, and he's really attracting the attention of prosecutors. So here we go. Okay, this is Sidney Powell. Let's take a look. Okay, well, let's just start here, shall we? Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, so she was prepared to pass along a message, any message. And in fact, the more it got people wound up, the more upset they got, the more, she sort of stirred the pot, the happier she was. And of course, this message was for Trump. Okay, so that was that alliance or partnership that I'm seeing here. So she was literally prepared to do whatever it took, say whatever was necessary, like prostitute herself. There's just not another word for it. Just sell herself to the highest bidder. And in this case, the highest bidder was Trump. He was who she was trying to protect. She also thought that she would be able to really cement her position within the Republican Party. I don't know that that's working for her. Hang on here. Sorry about that. I'm actually doing this fairly early in the morning, and so you really are the first people I'm talking to. So my voice is a little croaky. Okay, so that was what was going on with her. She was determined to sort of feather her nest almost. This was her chance. It's not that she thought Trump was amazing. She didn't. But this was her chance to sort of cement her reputation within Republican circles. And boy, she was not going to stop at anything to make that happen. So unfortunately, what has happened is because she was completely motivated by self-interest, whether that was money, whether that was reputation, whether that was she was looking for more clientele, more security. That was her motivation. That was what was going on. And, just like all the other people, and trust me, I'm not excusing this, but just like all of the other people who kind of end up circling very close to Trump's orbit, they become a little delusional, right? It's like they become just like robots. It's like, I will say whatever Trump wants. It doesn't matter. I will say it. I will repeat it. I will put my reputation on the line. And all of these people, or the vast majority of them, of course, are behaving this way for their own self-interest. This isn't about Trump, for God's sakes. This is about they're using him and hanging on his coattails to try to accomplish what they want to accomplish. It didn't work so well for her. Excuse the noise, it's the cat's playtime, so you're going to be hearing all kinds of strange little things in the background. It didn't work for her, and in fact, what she has done is, at this point anyway, she really, really has put herself in an incredibly precarious situation, because you know what? This is sort of the story. Okay, I'm going to go in front of a court, and I'm going to say, yes, I'm a lawyer. And yes, I know the law. And yes, for months and months, I told a lie. And I fabricated the lie. And I got it to go bigger and bigger. Oh, but you know what? Any smart person would know it was a lie. That's the defense. I don't think that that's going to fly. I really don't. There's that sense of sort of delusion, that sense of, I'm doing this for my reasons. And it's like they get sort of blinded by what they think they're going to be able to accomplish, and not in small measure, because Trump and Giuliani are telling them they're going to be able to accomplish these great things. And so she just said whatever she thought. And you know what? She really believed that she was going to end up in a victory. She really, really deluded herself into believing that this was going to work. It was actually, I think, sometimes right around January 6th, right around that insurgency, where she went, oh, this might not be so good. But did she back down? Apparently not even then. Because after all, she made a deal with the devil. Now, the thing is as the inauguration rolled around and as Trump sort of escaped to Mar-a-Lago, she started to realize that, like every single other person, Trump was only in it for him, and he didn't care about all the other people that had put their names, their reputations, all of it on the line for him. And so now she is in a position where she is in a whole lot of legal trouble. And her defense is, of course, everybody should have known I was lying. Youch. This court case of hers is going to push forward, and she is absolutely going to not do well. She is not going to be well received by the courts. She has no defense for all of the lies that she told about that entire situation, whether it was the voting machine companies, whether it was, I don't know, the DNC, whatever it was, whether it was different states, because she was one of the ones who led that whole, let's relitigate everything because Trump had to have won. She has lost so much more than she is even capable of processing and understanding. And it definitely looks like she's going to be carrying this for a long time going forward. She is not going to be able to escape it. And you know what? Just speaking of which, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we don't see Giuliani in a very, very similar situation where, honestly, as things move ahead, there is loss and the burden becomes very, very heavy, and they're sort of almost not able to sustain the weight of the disaster that they have self-created. Yeah. I mean, she really believed that her fortunes were changing for the better because of Trump. 8:45. I'm going to try to remember to do that more often. But what she doesn't understand is at this point, her alliance with him has completely depleted. Okay, so read this card in reverse, right? It is completely, completely defeated whatever the good fortune was, and that is now reversing. And she is going to have a very long, very difficult road going forward. I just don't see part of it. Part of what she's battling kind of behind the scenes is this sense of, but I work so hard for this, and I don't want to lose everything I put so much time and energy into. And this, I think, pertains more to her career, okay? How she is viewed within legal circles, how she is, how she thinks that the RNC would be so impressed with what she did. Now listen, the RNC has become so unbelievably, incredibly corrupted. They have been for a really, really long time, but honestly, since I want to say like September, October, they sort of just hit new lows, and they keep on sinking deeper and deeper as the election was lost, as they started all that nonsense with the recount, as Trump left office, as Biden took office, as now they're going after, they're doing everything they can to hold on to their power. So there really is a sense that even though she is sort of, I guess, corrupt as them, so maybe she thinks that that's a good thing, right? But overall, looking long term, it's really, really not going to serve her very well. There is a difference between being loyal to a party, having certain beliefs. That's very different than I will throw myself down in defense of something that I know full well is a lie. She's going to lose a lot. She really is. Whatever she has accumulated, whatever she has accomplished, she stands to lose a lot of it. So I want to just do a couple questions with my little pendulum here. Okay, so as you know, side to side is it's ready to talk. Around and round, thank you, pendulum, is no. And could you please show me yes? And there's yes. Okay, so here we go. Is Sidney Powell's defense of, well, they should have known I was lying, is that going to work for her at all? No, of course it's not going to work for her. Is she significantly at risk to lose her law license? Yes. And going forward, just a little bit, is she likely to be embraced by the Republican Party? Are they going to sort of full-throatedly embrace her? No, they're not. So she really is sort of, what are those big chunks of ice that unfortunately, because of global warming and climate issues that break apart from, the main ice caps and they float? That's literally the picture I just saw. She's literally by herself on this hunk of ice floating, and there's no support coming for her. So that looks like that is her story. Is she going to be able to salvage her reputation? Is she going to be able to turn this around in any way? Okay, that also looks like a no. Okay. All right, let's now take a look at, I want to take a look at the GOP, specifically this whole filibuster thing, because that really is, McConnell's attempt to continue to be able to manipulate and control what goes on in the Senate chamber, because, couple of things, right? He doesn't want this voting right reform to pass. He's going to fight that. He's going to fight everything he can. They continue to, sort of hold up and create obstacles in terms of, what's that called? The, when they get, oh my Lord, you can tell my brain's off in some other place. Confirmed. They're dragging out those confirmations where they can. I heard yesterday that Merrick Garland, yes, he is in place at the Department of Justice, but the people below him, who should be below him, are not yet confirmed. And so they're really dragging their feet. And so, because Mitch will not let go of power, like in some ways, oh my God, he's gripping that power tighter than Donald did. Okay, so let's take a look at the GOP and the filibuster. GOP filibuster power, GOP filibuster power, GOP filibuster power. Interesting. As you know, I don't usually look at the bottom of the deck, but look, judgment. And I don't think it's a judgment that's going to look good on them, frankly. Truly, sometimes it sort of surprises me how certain readings or people or situations can get the loveliest cards, frankly. And if they were for sort of a normal reading, if they would be fabulous cards to get. But all of these literally can be read in reverse. So let's start sort of with the energy of the GOP. What you have here is a group of people who are so corrupted. They are so far removed from what they used to believe. Hold on here. Come on, let's go. Oh. Go. Okay, sorry about that. That was somebody letting me know that my pod, so the container that we're going to be moving stuff into for the move, has arrived. So honestly, I've kind of lost my train of thought here, but just give me a second and let me kind of reorientate myself back into the energy. So bottom line here is that they were prepared to do anything and everything to hold on to power. What they're trying to do now is Mitch McConnell is doing everything he can. And again, I don't think Mitch McConnell's a very nice person. But he is politically savvy. He has been in this game a long time, and he knows how to play it. So he's pulling out all the stops, right? He's going to do everything he absolutely can to kind of pull this together and make this work to his advantage. He's in a defensive posture because they don't have a majority. And the filibuster is what he's going to use to try to do exactly what he did before, which is that sort of Democrats, you give me this and this and this, and then we'll talk, we'll negotiate, we'll play nice. And of course, the Democrats foolishly gave them this and this and this, and then Mitch McConnell went, yeah, no, I don't think so. Okay, so they're going to try that same handbook again, but I don't really think it's going to work this time, in part because there truly is no desire on the Democrats' part, really to play ball with these people. You know, a lot of what you're seeing, it really does feel that like it's for form, right? It's so that they appear willing to some degree to, compromise, meet in the middle, conduct the Senate the way it was always intended to be conducted. So the latest little thing that the Republicans are pulling out is now they're saying that, the filibuster has racial overtones, and I don't even understand what they're saying about that. Or Mitch McConnell saying it never did, but it actually does. It's nuts. But the reality is, take comfort from the fact that the Democrats are flat determined to get some of this stuff through, particularly this voting rights reform thing, because you've got all of these Republican states doing everything in their power to make voting harder and harder and harder going forward. They're determined. The Republicans are absolutely determined to flip the power in the midterms. They want to take back the House, and they for sure want to regain control of the Senate. Now, I've told you before, I don't believe McConnell's going to be around in politics that long. And I also have a very, very clear feeling that whoever replaces him is not going to have the political strength or savvy to actually be able to continue the plays from the McConnell playbook, okay? But that is their focus. That is what they're trying to do. And let me tell you, they're not going to stop until they have done everything in their power to try to secure the results of or to turn over the results come midterms. A little too late, they realized that momentum against the Republicans was building. And, quietly between themselves, they talk about the fact that really the only thing that's holding the party together at this point is kind of those crazy Trumpers and the people who believe everything Trump says. And while they were prepared to play along with that for the election, for post-election, there is a reality now that the GOP, as people knew it, really is crumbling, just crumbling and turning to dust. And as of right now, I have to say, energetically, it's a little hard for me to read. I guess because things are so much up in the air, it's a little hard to know whether going forward, which side of the GOP is going to win. Sort of the more traditionalists who, every time you look around are retiring because they apparently have this great need to spend time with their family, or the always Trumpers who will go to any lengths, any degree of corruption, any lie, anything to grab, hold, maintain power, and deny whatever needs to be denied to whomever needs to be denied to get what they want. But they've suffered a defeat in some ways. Oh my goodness, I just heard the phrase "walking dead." So literally, it feels as if the GOP is already dead. They're just still walking around. It's like they haven't quite clued into the fact that this configuration of the party is done. And I don't even believe going forward that there's really going to be a strong Trump sort of component. It will be for a little while, but in the long term, going forward, even a couple of elections, I see that actually diminishing. And the harder, understand this, the more Biden scores wins, okay? That stimulus package, the aid package, the vaccinations, all of it. He is scoring really big wins. And that is going to continue to build, because if it's one thing the Democrats figured out from last time, it was you shove everything you can shove through in that first 2 years. You don't count on holding the power in the House and the Senate. You get everything done you possibly humanly can get done. And so that in case things turn and you don't have the House and the Senate, you have accomplished a great deal. But the Republicans have really suffered a body blow. I just don't think they realize it yet. They don't recognize it. And they're not prepared to. You know, there's this sense of, honestly, it's sort of like the energy is kind of like, well, we don't exactly know which way to turn. We're not exactly sure, but we're just going to dig our feet in right now. We're going to dig our heels in, and we're going to, you know, try to ride this out. They can't ride it out. It's a disaster. Couple quick questions. Are the Democrats ultimately going to sort of kill the filibuster? Yeah. Is the Voting Act reform that they're trying to get through now, is that likely like to be passed in some configuration? Is that going to ultimately get passed? Okay. And is that going to get passed under the Biden administration? Yes. Okay, and just because this is long, it's far, far away, but let's just ask because I'm curious. Come midterms, is the House position going to get stronger? Okay, so it looks like Nancy, or the House, because I think at some point she's got to retire, bless her soul. I think it looks like they're going to actually be able to gain some seats. And the Senate, is the Senate going to get stronger for the Democrats? Stronger for the Democrats. Come midterms, yes. So that's also a yes. Can we anticipate Mitch McConnell still being the Senate minority leader for the next 12 months? Is he going to stay in that position for the next 12 months? Mitch McConnell, Senate minority leader. No, he's not. Okay. So I don't know what's happening or not happening, but there you have it. Okay. So thank you so much. I'm working my way through the comment section. I really just turned off my computer and didn't look at it for several days as everything was going on in the last few days. I, again, thank you. I am so appreciative of the energy, the time, the concern, the love you sent me in this process. And you know what? I am missing you guys. I got to tell you, I really am missing you guys. And I'm looking forward to being settled and to being able to resume my normal schedule. It's when I'm not able to connect with you guys, it really does kind of leave a little hole in my life. And so thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And until next time, take care and be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.